Hello, welcome to the start of the vlog. My name is Matt, this is Basking the Story, and this is the first of a series of vlogs I'm looking to do on new books coming to me from Booktuber recommendations. So these, I've reached out to 10 Booktube channels that all started in 2023 or very late 2022, and I'm counting as 2023 Booktubers. So 10 of my favourites. So it's 11 recommendations in all, and this is the first one. The first one to give me a recommendation was actually Colin from Colin's Corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert his clip now, and you can see what he recommended.
Hi everybody, my name is Colin from Colin's Corner, and I want to take just a second to thank Matt for inviting me to do this collaboration video. He wanted me to recommend him a book that he's going to read in this upcoming year, 2024, and maybe do a reading vlog of it. So I was perusing my shelves and trying to think of a book that would lend itself really well to being vlogged and seeing people's reactions throughout, and so I settled on Misery by Stephen King. And the reason that I picked this book, and even if you've seen the movie, I still think that you should give this one a try, Matt, because I don't know if a book has ever been able to create such a feeling of anxiety and tension throughout the entire thing. I was hooked to this tiny setting of, basically everything happening in one house, and I would love to see your reactions throughout this if you were to choose to do a vlog for this one.
So he recommended Misery by Stephen King. So this will be my second Stephen King novel. I read Pet Sematary towards the end of last year, which was my first ever Stephen King. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was excellent. So we're going to read Misery next. And as I say, misery loves company. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride and see what I think about this book and how anxiety-ridden the next few days may be while reading this. So thank you for Colin for his recommendation. But before we go any further, I have forgotten something. Colin has his Comedy with Colin section. Now, I was trying to think what jokes rhyme with M for Matt or B for Bask, and I was really struggling. Then I thought, I've got a co-star for my videos that would be perfect, and we can do laughs with Lyla. So bear with me 1 minute while I go and get the co-star of the show.
Hello, Lyla. Good morning. Good morning, Lyla. Ready for a laugh with Lyla? No, we're not ready for laughs with Lyla. Okay, that's the attitude. Lyla? What do you call a dog that can tell time? A watchdog. You're not impressed, are you? Okay, let's try another one. What do you call a dog magician? A labracadabrador. Oh, you're not impressed by that one either. Okay. Last one. What do you get when you cross a sheepdog with a rose? A cauliflower. No, okay. Boring, you're saying. Boring. Okay, we will have to try again later, Lyla. Laughs with Lyla, we will get there.
Okay, so I'm about 50-60 pages into Misery, and it is superb. It's absolutely amazing. We've got Paul, who's a writer, who's been in an accident and wakes up in this sort of pain-induced fugue state, and you've got Annie, who's looking after him in a house. And Annie is a wonderful character. She has this almost maternal caring, maternal instinct to care for Paul, who she's his number one fan as a reader, and she loves his misery books. But she also has these moments where she just sort of disappears and she's sort of staring off into the distance and she's not quite there. And then she has these outbursts of absolute rage and aggression. And then she has the tendency to then blame him for her outrages and her outbursts, and it just puts you so much on edge. And then you combine that with Paul's vulnerability of having his legs smashed to pieces in a car crash, not being able to move, and being in immense pain at Annie's mercy, effectively, for the pain relief and for food and drink and whatever. It just builds this incredible tension. And what I love is the way Stephen King has written the visualization of the pain of the tide coming in and out. So Paul visualizes it as, as the tide drifts out, he exposes more and more of his pain and his agony, and and then as it comes back in, it covers it up, it washes it over as the painkillers take effect. And it's a beautiful imagery of these tidal influence of pain is washing in and out. Just magnificent. But so far, excellent. Annie is terrifying already, and I have seen the film, so the Kathy Bates image is in my head, definitely. But I mean, she was magnificent casting for that role. But I haven't seen it for a long time, so I don't really remember how it progresses. I remember the odd scene, so I'm really looking forward to it. But wow, the tension he's building in this is superb. Okay, I'll keep this update fairly short because I've got a stinking cold and I break into coughing fits, so I don't want to have to edit out huge red coughing fits from this update. So I'll keep it quick. I'm about halfway through Misery, and it is so good. It is so good. Annie is getting Paul now to write her a book, so it's not really a spoiler because it happens fairly early, but we know Paul has killed off the main character from his previous series, who is called Misery, and that was Annie's favourite series, her favourite character, and obviously she's Paul's #1 fan, so she's getting him to write a new book where Misery is brought back somehow. And what we see in the next few sequences, we see Paul going back into his writing and sort of the relief he gets from that. There's sort of this, going back to the known, and his creative juices start flowing as to how he's going to do it. And we also learn more about each of them in this process, which is it is very well done, how we start to get more glimpses into who they are in their stories. So he's getting all this sort of relief and sort of catharsis of writing this story, and we see how where he is at that moment is impacting that story. And, the only issue is that his only critic is Annie, and Annie is such a great, terrifying but great character. And what we're starting to see is a level of vulnerability to her, and it's fascinating. It makes her much more human rather than just malicious presence. And from that, we're seeing not only is there vulnerability, but she's more human, and yet that makes her even more imposing and terrifying. And I'm really struggling to actually take time just to put the book down and get on with other things. It is superb. At the moment, it may rank slightly better than Pet Sematary so far for me, but obviously I've got half a book to go, so we'll see how it finishes. And I'm also thinking that once I finished it, I'm going to have to watch the film again, because it's been a long time. But yeah, superb so far. Stephen King's character work and just the presence he creates of this Paul's vulnerability and Annie's imposing presence, but she still has a vulnerability to her. Superb. Okay, so I finished Misery, and it was superb, absolutely fantastic. Stephen King, and this is only my second Stephen King, so I'm going to make a broad generalisation here. His character work is exceptional. The characters pop on the page. We've only got really two characters in this entire book. We've got Paul, the author, and we've got Annie, just this presence in this book. And she is... The genius of Annie is remarkable, like the way he's written her. So she is this threatening, malicious presence, but she's also vulnerable and human and feels real, and that makes her even more terrifying. And she has this just constant feeling of threat to Paul, who's in this vulnerable position, and the threat. And then we suddenly have these outbursts of incredible violence, just malicious violence, and then we have these moments of like maternal caring, and it's just remarkable. And I think so. I've read Pet Sematary, and this is my second one to say. And I think I prefer this, and I think that's because, in part, I prefer the human element of it rather than the paranormal. I think I find the paranormal doesn't hit home as hard as the horrificness of humanity. And this was just superb. I still can't go over it. I'm going to sit down and watch the film, hopefully this evening, if not tomorrow evening, because I need to see the film again. It's been too many years since I've seen it. But the book is superb. I know Colin, thank you Colin for getting me to read this from this Mike Stephen King. The book just has this anxiousness that is just flowing through it, and it's just driven by the vulnerability and the terrifyingness of Annie. And Annie, man, like Kathy Bates just nailed it in the film. That's why I want to watch it again, because I want to see Kathy Bates in that film again. But this was exceptional, the atmosphere, and I love the bit of Paul when he was like in the book, his escape, his, there's always violence, and yet he wanted to finish it. He wanted to write this book. There was something driving him to do it, and it was just magnificent, and this will stick with me. This was superb and absolutely excellent reading experience, and it just flies through. I mean, it's 350 pages, and I flew through it in a few days, a couple of days, 3 days maybe. Just absolutely superb. And as I say, I think I prefer this over Pet Sematary just because it is humans being brutal to other humans, and that sort of torture aspect, and just the horrificness of mankind. Just superb. Absolutely brilliant. So we now need to pick who's going to be next. So let's see who we pull out. Okay, so next one is that the right way up? Bookstalgic. So we're now going to check out her video and see what she has recommended.
Hello everyone, my name is Farah, and today I just wanted to recommend a book that I really enjoyed this year. This is one of my favorite books of the year. So the book I wanted to talk about real quickly is called Primitives by Eric Krauss. And the premise of this book is that 30 years prior to when the book starts, there was this horrible virus that overcame the entire world. The major symptom was this horrible fatigue that left people really debilitated. Nobody could really function anymore. So a group of scientists got together and they developed a vaccine which eradicated the disease and let everybody, get back to normal. Unfortunately, about 2 years later, after the administration of this vaccine, all the side effects started to pop up. And one of the side effects is that it changed the structure of the human brain, the structure and chemistry of the brain, to revert people back into a very primitive part of themselves. They can't speak anymore. Their language is gone. Their common sense is gone. They become very violent. And they live in these packs all spread across the world. There are little tiny pockets of people that are left that survived that didn't take the vaccine, that are still kind of our normal human beings. And we have Sarah, who is living in one of these tiny little communities in Costa Rica with the normal humans. And then we have Seth, who grew up in the steppes of Utah in the desert, alone with his adopted father who found him, somewhere along the way. Seth thinks that he's the only human. Him and his dad are the only humans left. Sarah wants to get away from this little utopian population because she feels suffocated and she wants to go explore the world. So through different circumstances, they both embark on this journey to reach a lab where the original vaccine takes place. And what I loved about this book was that it was such a good page turner. It had such great characters and it had really good action. I just felt that the author did a fantastic job with the world building of where we are and the setting that takes place. There's some interesting talks about the ethics of experimentation and things like that. And it was just a really fascinating book. I really enjoyed this book so much, and I just wanted to recommend it to you to try out.
So Primitives is next up, and I do like a bit of, effectively post-apocalyptic worlds, and this cover is pretty nice. I'm assuming it's a Scarlet McCall on the front cover, but a beautiful cover as well. So that's always a bonus. So thank you, Farah, for putting this one forward, and I will update you in hopefully towards the end of February as to how that is in another vlog. Colin, thank you so much for the Stephen King misery recommendation. Superb. Started on a high. Let's see if the others can reach you with that. There are 9 other booktubers who have given me recommendations that we'll be working through throughout the year. I'll link all the channels down in the description below so you can go and check them out if you haven't already. I'm now off to watch Kathy Bates absolutely terrorise James Caan. But before that, I think we should have another round of laughs with Lyla before we get into the serious misery of it all. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Okay, we are back for another Laughs with Lyla, and this time I realised what I did wrong last time. What we didn't do is we didn't do book-related dog jokes. I know, there are such things. So let's try again. You ready? You ready, Lyla? As you can see, she is super ready for this round. Super ready. Right. Which dog breed does Dracula love the most? Bloodhounds! Ah, okay. We'll try a different one. This is a good one. I like this one. I like this one. Ready? Hey, you ready? So ready, aren't you? So ready. Okay, here we go. You listening? You listening? What do you call a great dog detective? Sherlock Bones. Oh, no. No, okay. Last with Lyla, a complete success.